From Washington, I'm Christopher Cruz. Police in the eastern American state of Connecticut have released the names of 26 people shot and killed Friday at a school. 18 of them were small children. A police spokesman released the names late Saturday, and he asked reporters to respect the privacy of the families. 12 girls and 8 boys were killed. All of them were either 6 or 7 years old. The 6 adults who were killed were all women. In Pakistan, at least 5 people have died, and many more have been injured in a rocket attack. The attack happened Saturday night at the Peshawar airport, northwest of the capital, Islamabad. Officials did not immediately say who was responsible for the rocket attack, but militants have operated in the area in the past. The minister for the Khyber-Pakhtunkhwa province said 4 militants, including 1 suicide bomber, were involved in an unsuccessful attack that followed the rocket fire. Military forces have now surrounded and closed the airport. Peshawar is near Pakistan's tribal areas, where both Taliban and al-Qaeda militants operate. 50% of Egypt's voters were permitted to mark ballots Saturday on a proposed constitution. The other half of the country will vote on December 22nd. The document has caused weeks of violence and protests. Officials said Saturday that they deployed 120,000 soldiers to protect voting stations. Long lines at the ballot centers caused election officials to extend the vote by 4 hours to 11 o'clock in the evening. It is not clear when the results of the voting will be announced. President Mohamed Morsi's former political party, the Muslim Brotherhood, supports the proposed constitution. Mr. Morsi resigned from the group when he became president earlier this year. On Saturday, the opposition coalition accused Mr. Morsi of vote fraud. American Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has suffered a concussion after fainting and falling at her home in Washington, D.C. On Saturday, a State Department spokesman said Ms. Clinton was suffering from a stomach virus, became dehydrated, and fell, hitting her head. Ms. Clinton is recovering at her home in Washington. She will work from home next week. This week she canceled plans to travel to the Middle East and North Africa because of her stomach virus. You are listening to the news in VOA Special English from Washington. Russian police on Saturday detained about 40 people at an anti-government protest in Moscow, among them 4 top Russian opposition leaders. The demonstrators were marking 1 year of protests against President Vladimir Putin. Thousands of people were at the demonstration, even though it was very cold, and many police were there. City officials had refused to give the demonstrators permission to gather. Also Saturday, opposition groups created a new political party. They called it the People's Alliance. Former South African leader Nelson Mandela had a medical procedure Saturday to remove gallstones. Doctors performed a procedure called an endoscopy on the 94-year-old former president. The procedure was successful, and Mr. Mandela is recovering. And finally at this hour, a Venezuelan official says President Hugo Chavez is in satisfactory condition following a medical procedure to treat cancer. The operation happened earlier this week in Cuba. Venezuela's information minister says the president suffered some problems during the procedure, but is doing well. Ernesto Villegas said Mr. Chavez's recovery has been slow, but progressive.